you can pay for and also buy, right? If you use our method that we have researched over time, right, property should be at least 20 times the original purchase price. That is, the land you bought for 250,000 naira, the first 5 you buy for 250,000 naira should be at least 20 times how much you bought them. If you use our strategic relative acquisition property strategy, that we appreciate the value to at least 20 times because of what is happening in the environment, right? So if you estimate this, that is, property should be at least 20 times 20x the original purchase price. That is 250,000 naira times 20, right? That times 5 plus that you bought in the first year. 10 years after, in estimate should be about 25 million in 5 years, right? Should be about 25 million rather in 10 years.
So welcome to How to Retire Rich in Africa, right? A step-by-step guide to executing a personal retirement plan for Africans within and outside Africa, right? This is part 4. We've looked at part 1, 2, and 3. We've looked at how retirement is funded. Look at why you should consider a personal retirement plan in part 2 as Africans, right? Then in part 3, look at how to retire rich in Africa using real estate as part 3. In this, and promise in part 4, in this part, promise in part 3, that in this part, we are going to look at a personal execution, right? How can you use real estate? If you don't want to use a team, like we explored in part 3, the videos are available on this channel. All right, if you don't want to use a team to be able to build a 300 million business enterprise in 5 years, right? And begin to build from there towards retirement in 40, 35 years, maybe 30 years, 25 years, right? Then you want to try a personal investment strategy. There are someone who want to retire rich in Africa, right? So on this part 4, basically we're going to be looking at why real estate, why not any other investment vehicles, right? There are several investment vehicles that you can use to retire rich in Africa, right? But there is a reason why. Why are we talking about real estate first? For a beginner, someone who is trying to retire rich in Africa, who is young, who still have time in their hands, right? Why are we talking about real estate as your first option? Right? We're going to be looking at that, explore that in details in this part 4, right? But before then, we're going to also go ahead to look at the how to retire rich in Africa using real estate as an individual, right? So my name is Dan Arubasa. I'm a life after school coach. I'm a quantum leap enabler. I'm a value market strategist. I'm a goals achievers expert, and above all, I am an XME certified master fundraiser with over 10 years experience across board. So there are materials on this channel description to take you to our online store where you can get materials for you towards your retirement, towards wealth creation, towards building a financial balanced life as a working class or self-employed, government employed, anywhere across the entire continent. On this channel, right, how to retire rich in Africa, in every video, I share practical strategies that the average income earner anywhere across the African continent can literally engage to transform their lives financially within the shortest time possible. So it doesn't matter where you are across the African continent. I share videos, I share practical strategies that you can engage, right, to transform your life as an employee, self-employed, employed by others, government employed, private sector employed, anywhere across the continent, right? Talking about different investment skill, high income skills, particularly using real estate as your retirement plan or as your future investment as an individual. So if you're an African or a Nigerian in particular who lives either outside or within Africa, and you can afford to save 200 naira, 500 naira, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 or more on a daily or monthly basis, then you should subscribe to this channel. Put off the notification bell share the video with your contact link, like the video so that YouTube can show the video to more people who are out there, Africans who are struggling financially, be able to build a life of balance as individuals, right? And like I say over in other videos, it doesn't matter where you are across the entire continent. All you have to do is to convert our Nigerian naira into your nation's currency and know the value of what you can save on a daily, right? To be able to know to build a life of balance and financial abundance over time. So, for instance, if you are doing 200 naira daily, that is 6,000 naira monthly and 72,000 naira on a yearly basis. Just convert this to your country's currency and you'll be able to know how much that is. Right? If you are doing 500 on a daily basis, that is 15,000 monthly and 180,000 on a yearly basis. If you are doing 1,000 daily, that is 30,000 on a monthly basis and 360,000 yearly as an individual, right? You can either do this on a daily basis. There are apps that you can use. There are videos on this channel that will show you apps that you can use, right, to set on a daily target. If you're not do daily, then you can do monthly 30,000. Just pick where your strength is and begin to execute. Then, if you are doing 2,000 naira daily, that is 60,000 monthly and 720,000 on the yearly basis. If you are doing 3,000 daily, that is 90,000 monthly and 1.180,000 on a yearly basis. If you are doing 5,000 daily, that is 150,000 monthly and 1.8 million on a yearly basis. These are all investments. These are all capital savings to build capital for investment. It is not capital for expenses. We are looking at how do you retire rich in a continent like Africa, where most of that the government is owing pensioners who are struggling, who are in pain, right? Some of them have got stroke, some of them are sick, I can't even take care of themselves. Some of their children are not that financially okay, are struggling, right? There is a culture shift that is happening. There should be a commitment from this to pick where you are and start saving towards that, right?
So you are doing this by yourself. You are saving 350 naira on a daily basis times 30, that is in the month, that is 10,500 on the monthly. So let's assume you are earning like 100,000 naira. The government is taking out their own, that is 80% from the 100,000, right? You are on your own part, you are saving another 10,500, right, to build a personal retirement spread over 40 years, right, or 30 years as the case may be, of your working time as an employee of either government or private sector, or you are self-employed, you are hustling on the streets, right? You've not been able to secure a job, or you have a personal business that you are running. You can be saving 10,500 daily as an individual outside of the team and begin to build from here, right? You are planning for your retirement in 35 years, in 40 years, in 30 years as an individual. So what you have for 10,500 times 12, every year you'll be able to save at least 126,000 naira on a yearly basis. If you spread that over 40 years, right, that is about 5,040,000 in 40 years. And of course, you can't leave this money in the bank, right? You can't keep it just anywhere because it devalued by inflation. Last year, 2022, inflation was at about 20 point something percent. It was not anything near return on investment for pension fund accounts. It was wiping it, and the value of the account was going down because inflation was rising. So, how do you use investment vehicles like real estate to preserve your money, to save your money, and the value of your money, right, is intact, right? It's not devaluing, rather, it is going up with time. So, how to pull this off, like we discussed in part three of this, how to retire rich in Africa. We look at as a team, right, buying properties. There are properties for 450,000 somewhere right now across Africa. There are properties for 250,000 being sold by real estate companies. And by the way, there are videos on this channel that look at how to identify, all right, safe and secure real estate investment that you can invest into as a retirement plan. Also, we have materials, ebooks, physical books that are available on our online store that can guide you towards making the right investment in real estate, right? So, as an individual, your savings is 10,000 naira monthly and 120,000 on a yearly basis, right? So what you're looking at is to look at the fact that it's possible that every year, because the journey is 40 years, you are preparing for retirement, right? Is to buy a plot of 250,000. Look for search for plots 250,000 naira, like anywhere across the entire continent, right? And secure and save your money. Every 2 years, you are able to buy two plots of landed properties every 2 years, because what you are getting at the end of every year is just 126,000 naira every year. So in 2 years, right? In 2 years, that is 126,000 times, right? We give you a total of 252,000 naira. That's what you are getting, right? So you are able to secure a plot of land every 2 years. You buy one plot. Every 2 years, you buy one plot. For instance, if you if you had the capacity to do 30,000 more, which means at the end of every year, instead of 2 years, you are able to buy a property at 350 or 360 yearly. That is one per plot, one per year rather. If you buy that for 40 years, that is 40 plot of landed properties. All right, every before your retirement, whose value cannot be the same, right? If you are doing 60,000 monthly on your part, right, you are able to, you are doing, let's say this is 7 or 20, this will be able to give you two plot of landed properties every year. Over 40 years, that is like 80 plot of landed properties. You understand what I'm saying? You're using real estate as an individual, right? If you're doing 90,000 monthly, that's about 1.8 million. Depends on what you want to buy. You can also buy landed property of 500,000, 1 million every year, right? So if you have a million, you bought a plot of land for 1 million once every year for 40 years, right? That is 40 plot of land. There is no way using our result guaranteed strategic real estate acquisition method. There is no way the first land you bought, right, 40 years ago will be the same 1 million. It should be 10 million at the end. This is how you retire rich in Africa. But we are breaking it down to someone who is earning within the range of, let's say, 100,000 at the moment. So you're buying landed properties for 250,000 naira, right? Every 2 years you are buying one plot. Every 2 years you are buying one plot for at 250, right? So what you have there is that the first 2 years you have two plot of landed properties, right? In 10 years, the first 10 years of this experience, you have a total of 5 plots. The first 20 years, you have a total of 10 plots, right? Then the first 30 years of doing it, you have 15 plots of landed properties at the same cost, right? By the last 40 years, you complete your 40 years, you have a total of 20 plot of landed properties somewhere across Africa, right? It could be in Nigeria, whatever your location is, right? Spread across Nigeria, spread across South Africa, spread across Ghana, right? Spread across Zimbabwe, Rwanda, right? You are just making investment outside of your pension fund that the government or your private employer and yourself are funding over the 40 or 30 years, 35 years period that you are working. You are taking care of another strategic, a backup plan of trying to make sure that by the time whether the government delivers or not, you have something to fall back on in your retirement age. Why? Because whether you like it or not, retirement is coming. Old age is coming, right? So the total of what you have is 20 plot of landed properties at a cost of 250,000 naira per plot, right? So you're going to be doing this for 40 years. Don't forget, we are looking at how to retire rich in Africa. You're going to be doing this for 40 whole years, right? So what happened is that second 10 years, for first 10 years, right, you're going to be having every 10 years, you're having 5 properties. Every 10 years, you're having 5 properties. So by the time you have for 40 years, right, what you have here is 30 years. Second 10 years, which means 10 years after you started this journey, which means the first 5 landed property that you bought, right, should be around already 10 years 10 years old already. That is 10 years after you bought them, right? By the third 10 years, The ones you bought on the second, third year should be at least another 10 years there. So it keep building up that way, right? So what we have here is this: using our value appreciating guaranteed real estate acquisition method, right? Yeah, the products, the e-books, right? The physical books are available on our online store. Somewhere in the description on this channel, right? Just click on it. You get free materials that are there talking about real estate and several other investments. And also you have paid ones that you can pay for and also buy, right? If you use our method that we have researched over time, right, property should be at least 20 times the original purchase price. That is, the land you bought for 250,000 and the first 5 you buy for 250,000 should be at least 20 times how much you bought them. If you use our strategic relative acquisition property strategy, that we appreciate the value to at least 20 times because of what is happening in the environment, right? So if you estimate this, that is, property should be at least 20 times 20x the original purchase price. That is 250,000 times 20, right? That times 5 plus that you bought in the first year. 10 years after, in estimate should be about 25 million. That's why we said you should get a diary for this channel, because what you do is purely practical. Everything I'm doing right now, you can break a diary and pause the video, as in break it down and see how it works out on paper, right? You are doing it for 40 years, right? By the time you are by the first 10 years, you have at least 5 properties. 10 years after, you should already have about 10 properties already. But what we are saying is that the first 5 you bought 10 years ago should be at least 20 times the original price. So their value should be at least 25 million in 10 years. The second set you bought, right, to do the same thing, that's another 25 million, right? The third one you bought, right, by the end of the 40 years period that you are looking at now, those properties should be at least 20 times the original price. That is a total of 20 million, 25 million plus 25, that's 50 million, plus another 25 million, that is 75 million in personal real estate investment. In personal real estate investment, if you want to do this as an individual, this, guys, is how to retire rich in Africa. It doesn't matter where you are across the continent. It doesn't matter where you are outside the continent. If you're an African, and a Nigerian in particular, who is earning, all right, you have regular income, you are into business, you are self-employed, you are government employed, you are private sector employed, this is what you should consider into investing in your future. Look at parts 1, 2, and 3, and look at the fact why you should talk about a personal retirement plan. Go to Google, you see how many pensioners across Africa are suffering. Government isn't taking care of them. They aren't paying their gratuities, and what the money they've saved with them, government is even borrowing from the money, and they are struggling. This is how, guys, to retire in Africa. The first choice you have is to invest in real estate. When the government gratuity comes, all right, or the government pension comes, and whether it comes or not, right, of course it's going to come, hopefully, but this is something that you have as a backup plan that you are working on to secure your future in another 40 years, 35 years, 30 years after actively working in the labor force anywhere across the continent, right? Now, it is important to know this: deploying your capital. First, the estimation above covers only the first 15 plots. By the end of the 20 years period, right? Let's go back a little bit. At the end of the 40 years journey that you're having, the total of what you have is 20 plots. That's what you're going to be having. The estimate we've done here, right, covers the first 15. You are having 5 plots for every 10 years. This is 30 years. That is the first 15 plot that you bought. That's what we are saying. So the first, the estimation above covers only the first 15 plots purchased within the first 30 years, with the exception of the last 5 plots purchased during the last 10 years. Right? So you have 15 plots that are valued at least 75 million. And you have another balanced 5 plots, that is an acre, because an acre is 4 plots, and That is an acre and that is still left undeveloped, that is still there, right? So in part 5, I will show you how to strategically deploy your capital towards turning the last five, the right 5 into real estate assets for regular cash flow through other investment vehicles outside of real estate, right? In part 5, I will show you other investment vehicles that you can use your money, your capital. Because what you are looking at here is that for the first 20 years that you have worked all your life, if you liquidate this 25 million, if you liquidate 25 million, that's 50 million. Are there other investment vehicles that you can use this money for? I'm going to be looking at that, right, in part 5 of this How to Retire Rich in Africa, right? So let's now close this part 4 by looking at why real estate, why not other investment vehicles, right? Why not other investment vehicles? Why are we talking about real estate? Why does it have to be real estate? Real estate. Why not other investment vehicles? Well, of course, in part 5, like I said, I'm going to look at how to retire rich in Africa, right? Using other investment vehicles outside real estate. But for the now, why are we talking about real estate first? Why are we talking about real estate first? The reason is simple, right? Number 1, it gives you 100% control over the outcome of your investments. It gives you 100% control over the outcome of your investment. Some of the investment that you are making, like your pension fund that is managed and controlled by the government, you may end up working after 35 years, after 40 years of your working experience, right? You'll come out from the labor force and the government is telling you stories. You start struggling to collect your pension. But this is, as a personal strategy, this is absolutely under your management and your control. This is absolutely under your management and under your control. So counting from 2016, right? Counting from 2016, 5 years ago, at least 5 major Ponzi schemes investments have crashed with billions of naira of people's money. That is just basically the truth. This is why real estate for me is what comes first. Real estate for me is what comes first in the chain, talking about retiring rich in Africa. A lot of investment around there is secured, yes, but do you have control over them? There is bonds, right? Government bonds that you can buy. There is company stocks that you can invest into, but do you have control over them? The answer is no. But as a beginner investor who is trying to create wealth on the long term, the number 1 place you should put your money for a start is in real estate. In as much as you know what you are doing, secure landed properties, right, as it is what you should put your money on, talking about retirement in Africa. Because anything can happen to any money that you put anywhere else. Yes, real estate have its own disadvantages, and there are videos that are on this channel that have covered that. But the first place you should consider for saving your money, not in the bank, and talking about retiring rich in Africa, is in saving your money in landed properties. Right? Let's go to Facebook. Let me share some things with you. Why I think real estate, right, is what you should invest in. Let's go to Facebook. Let me show you something. Right? This is my personal Facebook wall. Right? If you're not following me already, please. My name is Donald Basan. Mr. Web also is my name. So just come and follow me right now. There's a description to my followership link somewhere on this channel that you're watching this from. So if you're not following me already, please follow me. So look at it. That's why I want to take you to Facebook, right? I lost 16 million. I lost 16 million naira. Okay, it's already here. So in 2016, right, I lost 16 million naira. I wrote about it for the first time. So I wrote about this. This is my Facebook wall. Look at this. Friday, October 2020. Friday, October 22nd, 2021. Right. So what happened in 2016? After making a lot of investment, that 2016 was when we talked about Ponzi schemes and all that, right? Total of what we lost, right? A few days ago, I told you about losing over 16 million to scams, isn't it? Well, there was yet another story I didn't tell you about personal about 2 Bitcoin and all that. Now, me and my wife, we lost, as in what we could calculate between 2016, 2018, we've lost over 16 million, right? It was from that point on I have to step back. I told myself, you know what? This thing called wealth creation on investment. I don't understand it. I'm just jumping from here, putting money here, putting money here. So I took time off between 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, right? I was studying systems of wealth creation. And one thing I came out from that study from was the fact that as a beginner's wealth creator, if you're not born into a rich home, right, you're working, you're struggling, right, making daily ends meet and all that. The safest place you can put your money is into something that you have control over, at least 100% control over. You're not giving your money to somebody else to help you manage. You are putting your money somewhere that you have control over. That is all that I'll be sharing on this channel. If you want to retire rich in Africa, you have to put your money somewhere that in something that you have control over. I also wrote about this also. I make a video about it in 20, how we lost over 60 million to several policy schemes and how much that experience have saved me over the last 6 years. There's a video on my wall on the power of personal economy. Right? There are videos I've talked about it. This is 2023. I spoke about this, that is 2021, right? And what I wrote about for the Foxland 2021 at the end of my study and all that. So the point I'm trying to make is that if there is anywhere you should put your money on, it is in real estate. It is a beginner's guide to wealth creation anywhere across the country. It doesn't matter what anybody else wants to tell me. This is born out of personal experience, personal engagement. Of course, there are several places you could put your money, but I'm giving you a personal and a professional advice. Why real estate? Why retire? Why save your money as a pensioner that is looking towards retirement in 40, 35, 30 years? Why save your money in real estate, right? This is what we are covering in this channel. Please, if you are not subscribed already to this channel, please do that as we jump on into several other reasons why you should invest your money into real estate. So the point is, why real estate? Why real estate? Why not any other investment vehicles? Right? Number one for you as a beginner's guide towards wealth creation anywhere across Africa, someone who's trying to retire rich in Africa, right? The number one choice is real estate. It gives you 100% control over the outcome of your investment. And I'm sure if you're a Nigerian and African in particular, I know you can go to Google right now and search for policy schemes that have crashed, right, between the last 5 years. Between the last 5 years, from 2016 to 2022, how many investment schemes have crashed already? People who are doing stock trading, forex trading, people who put their money into even produce from farm of Azor, from big lands, from there to all we have is God that gave us. As in, it's crazy. But when you take control over your personal finances, you have 100% control over your resources. Number two, why real estate? Why real estate? All right, real estate property strategically acquired has the potential to do 5x, 10x, 15x, and even 20x the original purchase price within a few years. Real estate, as in the land, is not eating. All you have to do is to make sure that you buy a secured and value appreciating landed properties. And like I've been saying, there are materials on this channel that you can pick, right? Some paid, some free, that you can pick and start your journey towards investing in real estate properties. In real estate, time and strategic development is a value multiplier. You literally don't have to do anything to keep the value of the property appreciating. Just buy the right land, that's all. Just buy the right land, that's all. Secure it, that's all. The value will keep going up without you having to do anything. So you have put your money somewhere in an investment run by somebody else, right? Or somewhere else, or other government control. They can tell you all the story in this world. But as a fixed asset, landed properties, real estate properties, right? The value keep increasing. If the value is not increasing, your land is there. If the value is increasing, you see that the value of the land in the environment, that the value of the land is increasing. So number two reason why you should put your money in real estate as a part of way to retire in Africa, right? To retire rich in Africa, right? Because which you acquire landed properties strategically, right? The value has potential to do 5x, 10x, 15x, 20x the original purchase price without you having to do anything. The value will keep going up over time without you having to do anything at all. Number 3, reason why real estate. Why should you invest in real estate, whether as a team, right, or as an individual? We cover the team approach in part 3. This part 4. We also cover personal approach. Number 3, why real estate is a strategy to beat inflation and create high value return on investment. When you are investing your money in real estate properties, right, it is a strategy to beat inflation. Of course, I show you in part 2. I show you how that inflation in Nigeria currently is 20 point something, of which if you compare that with the value of return on investment on pension funds account, right, inflation has eaten the money up. When you keep your money in real estate properties, right, like in many other parts of the world, investing in strategic real estate property, the word here is strategic, not just any land, but strategic land, value appreciating landed properties. It's a strategic way to beat inflation in Africa if you have perfect understanding of what you're doing. That is why we have materials that covers that area, and you can buy, get into, and begin to multiply your income. I tell you for the truth, this is something that you should take time, get a diary on this channel, right? Sit down and look through it. How to retire rich in Africa. Real estate, right, is a perfect strategy to beat inflation. Guaranteed, if you know what you're doing. And number 4, which is the last point I will have here, right? Strategic related acquisition, right? Strategic related acquisition offer you at least 3 channels of cash flow per annum. If you buy properties, you buy the right properties, right, it gives you 3 channels of cash flow per annum. That is just basically it. So it's not just a number you bought land already, right? If you put your money in real estate properties, right, the value keep appreciating. 1, right, you have control over the landed properties. 2, right, you beat inflation. 3, and number 4, right, you have 3 channels, right, of cash flow in real estate. First, there is value appreciation with time. Time takes care of the value of the lands. Second, the properties can provide rental income while time does this. That is why you are waiting. The land you bought, you are doing it for 40 years, for instance. The land you bought for the first 5 years, you will see people that will be able to say, okay, let me rent the land for farming or for something. And you make income from there. You can even get produce from there. So the land are rentable while time is doing its thing. And third, it provides opportunity to for easy business and investment diversification for your capital. So you have capital there. That's about if you are doing a team, you guys have about 300 million that you can use for any business, right? Then if you are doing individual, you have about 50 million or 25 million. That's what I've seen on this video that you can use for several other investments. So real estate also provides the opportunity to diversify your investment. You have lands to back up whatever investment that you want to make. If you need more money, you sell more properties, you invest into your landed property. So these are the 4 reasons why, right, we consider real estate as the perfect and first option for beginners wealth creators towards retiring rich in Africa. So in part 5 on how to retire rich in Africa, part 5 is somewhere right now on this channel. Just search out for it and begin to engage, right? I looked at how to retire rich in Africa using other investment vehicles outside of real estate. We've covered real estate from part 3, from part 2, part 3, part 4. This is part 4 now. On part 5, we're going to be looking at how to retire rich in Africa using other investment vehicles. Now you have capital that you can build either as a team or individual, right, using real estate. Now, how do you unleash the power of that capital into other investment vehicles as strategies for you to what? You retire rich in Africa. I will cover that in part 5 of this series. Don't forget, if you are an African, a Nigerian in particular, who lives either outside or within Africa, and you can afford to save 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 or more, either on a daily or monthly basis, then you should subscribe to this channel. Put on the notification bell, like our videos, share them across our social media platforms, right? And others can be able to connect with us as we make progress in this series. So if you are doing 200 naira daily, that is 60,000 on a monthly basis, and 72,000 naira on a yearly basis, right? If you're doing 500 daily, that is 15,000 monthly and 180,000 on a yearly basis. If you're doing 1,000 daily, that is 30,000 monthly and 350,000 naira on a yearly basis. If you're doing 2,000 naira daily, that is 60,000 monthly and 720,000 on the yearly basis. If you are doing 3,000 daily, that is 90,000 monthly and 1,080,000 on a yearly basis. While if you are doing 5,000 naira daily, that is 150,000 naira monthly and 1.8 million on a yearly basis. These are choices that you can make. You pick where you belong, then you begin to execute starting from that point. I hope this video's series has been mind-blowing and life-changing for someone out there. Don't forget, wherever you are in Africa, you can all you have to do is to convert our Nigerian naira into your country's equivalent naira. You get the equivalent of what you can plot your life around and begin to execute for yourself. So to help you as an individual, we have what we call the Global Wealth Creators Community on Facebook. The description is right now on this channel. Just click on the link, which will take you to Facebook. You'll be asked some series of questions, right? And from there, you'll be able to answer and join other wealth creators from several countries across Africa. We are building a community of wealth creators across the entire continent, right? And for the first time in Nigeria, right, in 2023, this year, around December, we'll be gathering in Asaba, Nigeria, Delta States, right? And we're having what we call the Global Wealth Creators Conference, where we're having wealth creators from everywhere coming together to share knowledge, coming together to share engagement, coming together to form communities of investors, team building, planning, execution, right? Towards how we can build the next 40 years, the next 20 years, the next 35 years of our life as wealth creators, right? Across the entire continent. Just join us on Facebook. And also, like I've been saying all through, we have learning resource, right, on this channel. The link is somewhere in the description. Just click on it. It will take you online to our online store where you have materials, both paid and free, that you can download for your engagement, for your growth, and for your financial well-being along the line. So don't forget, in part 5 that is coming somewhere right now on this channel, how to retire rich in Africa, I will be dealing with how to retire rich in Africa using other investment side real estate. My name again is Dan Arubasa. I'm a life after school coach. I'm a quantum leap enabler. I'm a value market strategist. I'm a goals achievers expert. And above all, I am a master SME fundraiser with over 10 years of experience across board. See you in part 5 and several other videos on this channel. Kasha.